In this module, you will learn about types of speed. Different objects may take different amounts of time to cover a given distance. How fast is an object moving? The answer to this question relates motion to the time taken for moving through a given distance, and that brings us to speed. Speed of an object is the rate at which an object covers a given distance. Speed is calculated as a ratio of distance covered to the time taken to cover that distance. Thus, an object that covers a relatively large distance in a short amount of time is moving at a high speed. Conversely, a slow-moving object has a low speed and covers a relatively small amount of distance in a relatively longer duration. An object at rest has no speed. Speed is measured meters per second in the SI system. Typically, you measure speed in kilometers per hour. 1 kilometer per hour equals 5 divided by 18 meters per second, or 1 meter per second equals 3.6 kilometers per hour. Let's try applying this formula to one of the situations we learned earlier. In our previous example, Mary's school is 3 kilometers away from her home. If Mary walks to school from home in 20 minutes, her speed can be calculated as 3000 divided by 1200, which is 2.5 meters per second or 9 kilometers per hour. However, generally, the motion of an object is not uniform from its starting point to its final destination. Its speed varies at different points or stretches in the journey. In such cases, to determine the speed at which the object covers the total distance, you may need to gather data on the speed of the object at each instant when it is in motion and then calculate the average of all these instantaneous speeds. However, gathering so much of data can be tedious and certainly impossible in the case of large distances. Therefore, we typically use a quantity called average speed. The average speed of an object is the ratio of the total distance covered by the object to the total time taken by it for covering that distance. Like motion, speed can be uniform or non-uniform. Thus, an object in uniform motion has uniform speed, and an object in non-uniform motion has non-uniform speed.
In this module, you will learn about velocity. If you rearrange the formula for speed, you can determine the distance covered in a given period of time at a given speed. S is equal to d divided by t. Therefore, d is equal to s multiplied by t. However, it does not give you the displacement of the object. To determine the displacement of an object, you need to know the direction of motion, along with the rate of the motion. Velocity is the speed of an object moving in a definite direction. Velocity of an object is defined as the rate of change in the position of a body. It can also be defined as the rate of displacement of an object. Velocity is calculated as the ratio of displacement of the object to the time interval taken for that displacement. Velocity is measured as meter per second in the SI system and centimeter per second in other units. Similar to speed, velocity is also measured in kilometers per hour. Velocity of an object can change by either changing its speed in a particular direction or by keeping the speed constant and changing the direction. When the yellow car takes a turn and moves ahead, its velocity becomes variable. Like average speed, you can calculate the average velocity of an object having non-uniform motion. Average velocity is defined as the ratio of the total displacement to the total time taken. When a body is moving with variable velocity for t total time duration, u and v are the magnitudes of its initial and final velocities, during which it has a total displacement, that is, s total. The average velocity of the body is the average of u and v. That is, it is half the sum of initial and final velocities. In this module, you have learned that velocity is the speed of an object moving in a definite direction. Velocity of an object is defined as the rate of change in the position of a body. Velocity is measured as meter per second in the SI system. Velocity of an object can change by either changing its speed in a particular direction or keeping the speed constant and changing the direction. Average velocity is defined as the ratio of the total displacement to the total time taken. Let's now look at a problem related to velocity. John walked from his home to a shop down the road in 3 minutes. He travelled 160 meters in the first minute, 90 meters in the second minute, and 200 meters in the third minute to reach the shop. You need to find his average velocity. Based on the given data, the time taken to reach the shop in 3 minutes, which equals 180 seconds. And the total distance travelled is the sum of distances travelled in each minute. That is, total distance is equal to 450 meters. You can calculate the velocity as the ratio of total displacement to total time taken. To calculate John's displacement or change in position, you need to analyze the direction of his movement. Since John walked on a straight road, his displacement is equal to the distance he covered. Substituting values in the formula, you get the average velocity, which is equal to 2.5 meters per second. Therefore, John's average velocity is 2.5 meters per second.